What is the best laptop to buy for digital content creators? So today I'm going to be showing you a few options and we're going to be looking at these to see what you need to look out for. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to give you an idea of laptops. What are good laptops for digital content creators? What do you need to look out for? Do you need a really fancy high-end laptop? Well, today I'm going to answer that because I'm showing you a number of options and these options will get you started. So I am live streaming onto Amazon Live today to help you get the right laptop. Again, as normal, if you're shopping and you've seen me below your product, I'm going to give you some information about these products. So I've got a carousel lined up with some items. Let's look at the first one. There's a nice range of budget options here for you. So let me quickly show you what we're talking about today. The first one I'm going to show you is, of course, an Asus. If you're familiar with Asus, they make a number of laptops designed specifically for different purposes. So the main one that you will see is the Asus ROG, which is a Republic of Gamers laptop, which is like a designed laptop for gamers. It has a higher end CPU and a graphics card built on. However, other than that, what else can we look at? Here is a non-high-end branded laptop. So now we're going to look at the realms of digital content creation. What is it you're looking to make? This is a lower budget option. We're looking at a price there you can see. This is the Asus model VivoBook. So with this option, what can you expect? It's going to be lightweight. It's very similar looking to the Chromebook from iOS. So you've got Chromebooks which are more lightweight. However, you've also got the Mac Pros, things like that. This one is only an i3 processor. So now this kind of comes down to the realms of what type of digital content are you creating? Are you making things that need more intensive processing? If you need something more intensive processing, what you're going to have to think about is something a bit more higher line, which I have got later in this setup. So we will look at another one. But I want to get you started off. If you're doing photos, your screen will be very important for you. You can see this laptop, Asus VivoBook, is 15 model, which designed for thin and light laptop use. So it's a 15.6 inch display, full HD display, and the CPU is going to be an i3 CPU. That is not the best CPU. However, if you're doing some light photos and you're looking to put photos from your camera to your laptop, do a light edit, like for example, maybe a bit of color correction, maybe you want to upload it to social media and you want to look at it in that sense and do day-to-day work on the laptop as well, then the Asus will be a good option, especially the one I'm looking at right now and which I've highlighted in the carousel for you. So let's have a dig at the actual nitty-gritty. What is it you want to look at? So firstly, we can see it's a Windows 10 machine. Most Windows computers will be 10 or above, which is kind of their latest and greatest one, I'll say. In between that, they had a few other Windows options which weren't great. Going down, let's look at the actual information from the manufacturer. So they'll give you the standard bump, which I'm going to gloss over. I'm going to get into the main things that I would look at if I was buying it as a content creator. So they give you a nice little table. Let me move my camera out the way so I'm not in the way of all the stuff. Let's put it over here. There you go. So we've got our one, which is the 15 model along the lineup. Display Intel i3. You can see is a starter model, which is this one here. Let me get my pen out so I can do a bit of highlighting and let you know what is good to look at and what is not, and also speak about the one I have and which one I use. So right now this one is the one we are looking at. So the VivoBook, UHD graphics, backlit keyboard, Wi-Fi, Windows 10, weight. The main things here I look at is the storage space. It's only 128 gigabytes. The first thing I'm thinking of already is, can I expand that? Because if I'm storing photos and videos on there, can I get a bigger hard drive in there? Can I put in a second SSD hard drive alongside that? So will there be a slot for that? That's something I'm thinking about. We'll have a look at that. The RAM is not great. It's 8 gigabytes. Perfectly fine for the CPU, which is an i3. So for example, if you're doing some video editing, you could probably do 720 1080p video edits, a light edit. I don't think it'll be designed for video editing. So that's more of like a pushing it to its limits. You'll probably want something like an i7, I would say, especially in the newer generation of laptops, because the newer generations are slightly more geared towards getting the best from the battery life. So we're looking at the laptops today to get you a nice bang for your buck. We want to be able to do everything as part of that. What do I mean by everything? I want you to be able to do some light photo editing, a bit of video editing, and additional ad hoc stuff, uploading stuff to YouTube, uploading things to your website or a blog, digital content creation. Alongside that, you might want to do more intensive work, which you can do, but I'll show you a different system for that, which will help you. So this system, for the price, it's actually not bad at all. You will be able to pick up additional upgrades for this, but we want to see what the graphics solution is on this. So we've got graphics card RAM size is 8 GB. So that's not great, because obviously that's the graphics integrated onto the laptop. But again, the budget ones will be that case. It's 3.4 gigahertz processor, and we can see the RAM there is DDR4, 8 GB, UHD graphics. Let me have a quick glance at this and see. 2 USB ports, 2 USB 3 ports, total of 4 ports, and the weight is a good weight. 1 battery required, which is included. Okay, great. Let's have a quick look at customer questions, because these always are interesting. Let me move my camera out the way again, just so you can see everything. Again, if you're looking at these at the moment and you're buying, do let me know in the comments if I can help you answer some of the questions that you're facing today. So we've got, is there any portable monitor that can be connected to this VivoBook using it? Okay, so that's a good question. Obviously, if you've got in your desktop, if you put another display in there, you can have additional display. Does it offer that option? Let's have a look what the answers are saying so far. It's got HDMI, so you can put additional HDMI. However, remember that will be intensive on the system if you're having 2 windows and running multiple programs. i3 would not be great for running multiple programs, so that's something to keep in mind. It may give you the option to add another monitor, but whether you want to do that is questionable. So let's have a look. Oh, okay, someone's done a nice benchmark for us. So, okay, really like to purchase i3. Very snappy and responsive. The fingerprint logon is super fast. Okay, what are they using it for? Pros, ports. Well, okay, yeah, good ports. Cons, no RJ45 wired LAN, which basically means if you have a cable to your internet, you can plug it into your laptop to make it a faster speed and no dropped signals. When I live stream, I make sure to plug in my computer to the internet cable via RJ45 cable, which means I won't have any drop signals. Wi-Fi can be a bit temperamental depending on how far you are from your router at home. So that's something that they mentioned that it doesn't have. 128 gigabytes is on the small side. We mentioned that a little while ago. So if you have got something you're looking at for your laptop, you want a bit more portable storage, you might be able to get a portable hard drive and plug that in. So that's something to think about. So it might be worth thinking about, if you're buying a laptop and it's not got a great deal of hard drive space, buy an SSD or an additional external device if you're able to carry multiple, because that's kind of like you'll have to carry an extra thing with you. Okay, so update, interesting, was getting long stutters running Zoom video conferencing and Google Sheets in the Firefox browser. System resource meter showed memory utilization at 70% and CPU at 50%. Okay, so there, oh, okay, excellent. Look how good that is. So someone's actually given us pictures of inside the system. There's the wireless, the Wi-Fi card. There's the battery. You can see the newer computers these days are more lightweight. The RAM is in there and it's got 2 4 gigabyte RAM slots. So you can actually upgrade that. You can actually get some RAM and make that a bit more better RAM. However, remember, the bottleneck is going to be the CPU. i3, I would not say is a good starter for content creators who are serious about their work. If you are doing regular video and editing of photos, raw photos from digital cameras, then you're going to struggle a bit. I think day to day you'll probably be all right with like an i3 for normal stuff. But if I was going to pick up a digital PC, laptop, sorry, I would. I've got another one I'm showing you a bit later on, which is I'm slowly going up the budget to give you like all the options. So this one, let's break it down in a simple way. So the current featured Asus laptop is an i3. Who would I say that is good for? I would say that's good for you if you've got general blog updates, easy photo updates that are not high resolution, you're not doing any video editing, and you're not doing too many Zoom sessions, because that is going to be quite hard to keep up with. Zoom these days actually does do HD 1080p video Zoom conferencing, so the computer needs to be able to handle some of that graphics, so that's probably not the best bet. So that's one option that we've been looking at right now. So the first one was the Asus system. So if you're doing something simple, that's a good deal for you to pick up and you'll be fine. However, let's have a look at the next option. I've got something else lined up here for you and I want to be able to show you that. Let's feature that and we'll speak a little bit about the differences. So next one I've got is an Amazon item again. You'll know I'm doing Amazon updates at the moment. So let's just grab that over here. And yep, so hello, I'm doing a double angle today to kind of give you a bit of a view. Again, if you have any questions about your purchase today, do let me know and I can help you with that. So yes, 222 on Reddit, thanks for your thing. I'm doing a session on Amazon Live today and we're covering the basics which people need to know. It's important to cover the basics because not everybody buying a laptop will know as much as everybody else. So how I normally do it is, if someone is going online to buy a laptop as a gift for someone, will they know everything they need to know? Maybe not. That's where we need to break it down to the lowest term to explain what would a laptop be good for, what is your need, and what can we match to your need. So next up today, we've got a 2021 HP 15.6 backlit laptop. This is all. Sometimes they give you too much information in the title, which is not necessary. All I need to know is what is in the next line. So in this one, available from these sellers, they actually give you a lot more options. If I show you what I mean by that, let me bring my camera so I'm not covering everything. Okay, there. So this one, you can actually choose a lot more options. So already I can see I've got 16GB of RAM option. Remember the one we saw before was the Asus and that only had 8GB RAM. So this one actually gives you an option to upgrade. Obviously that will be reflected in the price. An upgrade will cost a bit more. AMD CPU, so it's not an Intel based one. And what have we got? It's an AMD Ryzen 3. Okay, so you can multitask on that. However, what we're looking at price wise on this one. Okay, we'll have a look. Let's have a look at the info there. So what have we got? AMD Radeon graphics, okay, and Intel storage is 256. Okay, 2 hard drives. So we've got a 1TB at 5400 RPM. So that's going to be a normal hard drive in the sense that the mechanical hard drives we used to get. So you'll have a lot of storage space to use on that. The 256 M2 SSD is basically another drive they normally install the Windows programs on. So what that allows you to do is you can boot off that SSD hard drive, which means you have a quicker response time when it's starting up, as well as the programs. And then you can use the 1TB to store additional things that you're not too worried about accessing quickly. 5400 RPM is a bit lower speed. Okay, camera has got an integrated dual array and digital microphone. Okay, in the camera, the HD webcam that will be. I always say to try and get a different camera if you're doing it professionally, or if you want it to look nice, so have a different camera would be better. The integrated cameras are not always great. So what do we have on here? So okay, and again, this is something I wouldn't say that is excellent. So it's got a good RAM. Okay, the screen resolution isn't great. If you're doing photo editing and video work on the laptop, you won't be doing justice with that resolution. What else do we have here? Let's have a look at some of the customer examples, because I think those help explain who's been using it and if they're finding it helpful. Do we have any customer reviews on this one? 5 stars, but no customer reviews. So it may be one of the newer ones listed that haven't been sold as many yet. It looks like a nice option, and I can see it has got the RJ45 on the side, so you can plug in the Ethernet. The previous one we looked at did not have that. So let's have a look. Dual storage, excellent. But this is more like a work system, I think. If you've got Excel spreadsheets and you've got, if you're more a digital content creator, but you're doing more stats and analytics and Google keyword research, those kind of things, you'll be fine with. If you're doing websites and that kind of side of stuff, you'll be fine. But intensive CPU tasks won't be great on this one. However, it's more of a aimed at like students and business, lightweight kind of thing. But I wanted to make sure I give you a few options because I know people have different requirements, because not everybody wants a laptop to do fiending on loads of games and high resolution games. We have got another one coming up which I'm looking at for that. So we've covered 2 laptops today. How are you doing today? Are you looking for a system? Let me know what your plan is and I can help you with your shopping experience today. So let me have a little bit of a break there. So the first 2 systems there were more geared towards day-to-day content creation, basic edits, updates of websites, Excel documents, and data analytics kind of thing. So multiple spreadsheets, that kind of stuff. So if you're doing that for your work, or you can see that looks like a nice work machine anyway. You normally get them standard from work. I think I've got one of the new ones here. That's a lot better. What you will also notice is the newer machines are different because the CPUs are more designed towards getting more from your battery life, sort of more well-balanced machine as opposed to a high-intensity one. In the past, laptops used to be very high-powered. What I mean by that is it'd be like a really intensive CPU, but then you'll end up suffering on the battery life because it wouldn't last long. So they kind of had to balance that out with the new generation of laptops. So that was the second one we're looking at there. Let me bring you up another one in the carousel and give you another option. So what else do we have? Okay, so now, again, this is an additional look at a different type of laptop. Again, I'm going to say this isn't geared towards massive gaming experience, but it is a capable laptop at the price point that will be available to you. So a Lenovo Ideapad 3 14-inch laptop, so it'll be nice and portable for you if you're thinking about taking it regularly to and from college, work as a student, or you need to do certain work with it. It's better. The one good thing on this one is it's a full HD 1920 by 1080 display, which is very important. So with that important, let me just make sure we've got a few notifications coming in here. Yeah, that's fine. So a 1920 by 1080 display. Again, this is an AMD Ryzen 5, which is slightly better than the previous one, which is a 3. And this is a 3500U processor. 8GB RAM. Can we upgrade the RAM? Because 8GB I think is a standard now. We used to think of 8 as a good amount, but now with Windows and loading multiple programs on, 8GB cannot be as good as it can be. I'd say 16 is your minimum if you're having multiple programs open. Right now I've got a couple of internet browsers open, I've got a OBS session open, I've got Amazon open, and I'm using, let me check for you, Task Manager. I am using performance. I'm using 6.6 gigabytes of my memory. So let's think about that. If you had an 8GB RAM, the amount of programs you're running and things you open in the background will probably get you up to 90%, 80% of your memory if you only had 8 gig. Luckily, I have 16 gig, so I'm only using 42% of that. Again, this is a desktop computer I'm using, but if you were looking at a laptop, it gives you an idea of what you can run, how many programs you would run, and if it's worth running too many programs on something like that. It's got a Radeon graphics, narrow bezel, Windows 10. Again, I would say this is something designed towards getting your basic content creation, a bit of light photo editing. You can do a couple of games. Maybe you'll be able to play Minecraft on there or Roblox, like at low settings, because again, this is more of a PC designed, a laptop designed to get overall good connection. I'm bringing you a few more that are designed towards heavy gaming and kind of give you that information on that side. So let's have a look at this one. If you remember Lenovo ThinkPad is kind of like the old ThinkPad machines, which are built like work tanks. A lot of people use them for business machines. So the hard drive is 256 gigabytes, so not a very big hard drive on it. integrated card of AMD, integrated graphics. So again, we don't have anything special there. It'll give you the standard definition, and I think the main thing people normally worry about is battery life. So let's have a look at battery life and see what it brings up. So the Idea 3 battery is definitely not a poor one, but it's far from great. On max performance mode, I rarely get more than 2 hours of battery life out of this computer on. Okay, so again, it depends what your limitations are and what you're doing on the laptop. If you're doing intensive tasks for a couple of hours, you will drain your battery, because laptops are designed to work in the overall lighter performance when they're on their battery mode. If you're plugging them in power mode, you can use them in high performance mode, which gives you a lot more performance for the battery. So if you're going to regularly be doing content creation, maybe think about a desktop computer, which is what I use all the time for live streaming and main hardcore video editing and photo editing. We're going to touch on that in a separate live stream, but I know people are conscious of space, which is why we're looking at laptops today, to try and get the best balance of a good laptop for your needs. So that was a look at the third option. I think we have additional one, which I'll bring up in the carousel for you now, and that will kind of touch a bit more on the intensive side of things. So next, obviously, it's going to be a price jump as well. So you will notice with the additional money you invest in the machine, you will get a lot more for your money. So next we're looking at this machine here. So now we have a Gigabit Aero 17.3 inch, 300 Hz, Full HD IPS Intel Core i7. So we've jumped up from i3 to i5, now we're on i7, and i7 will get your work done. You've got a GeForce RTX graphics card in there. This is a machine that I would be happy to use, and I will be able to run everything I'm running at the moment. It's more or less what I've got at the moment. Let's have a look at the spec. So I got a graphics card for my desktop computer, which is similar to the GeForce RTX model, and again, look how nice that looks. You've got a lovely keyboard on there. You're going to be able to do intensive tasks. You've got all the Adobe suite of products on the desktop there, which shows you that you can do the majority of the hard work on it. Again, with a better laptop, a higher budget one, you will get all the connectivity. So you've got your RJ45, you can plug it into the internet. You've got a headphone, microphone jack. You've got USB 3. You've got HDMI 2, mini DP, and card reader as well. Thunderbolt 3 as well. So a lot of this would help you if you're backing up video content. You can obviously do it a lot faster. All day battery life, is that right? I'll challenge that. All day I could easily do some video editing and multiple tasks, which will drain my battery very quickly. So sometimes you have to be careful with what they tell you. Let's have a look at it. What do we have? So it's a 17.3, okay, 3060, okay, 16 gigabyte DDR4. It's got 1 terabyte SSD. Wow. So you're going to have some lightning fast write and read speeds there for your work. NVIDIA, so we're going to be looking at the Intel system there. 5 gigahertz. It's a very capable processor there. So this is going to be something that if you're looking at this laptop, you know what you want, because obviously it's going to be geared towards getting the best bang for your buck with a return on your investment. If you're gaming, you're going to be doing good gaming on this system. I would say you probably want to plug it in while you're gaming. So we've got an option there you can look at. Obviously that is the Aero laptop. Is designed for creators and gamers. So this I'll put on the top shelf. That is like the main system. The ones we looked at before, it's kind of building you up towards content creation. But let's have a look at some of the additional options. I've got another one lined up here. And the next one we have is kind of floating about at this price range. And again, if you're serious about content creation, you're going to be looking at these laptops and you will know the options. I have got another one lined up further along the lines, which will give you a balance between extreme and medium, because what you want is a cheap option, budget option, which you will have limitations on. Then you've got the higher option where you can do everything on, but then you'll have some people that want a mid grind. They do a bit of light editing. Let's have a look at that option. and also they don't want it to be a massive 17-inch laptop. So this one here, we have an Asus. Again, it's a ZenBook and it's a 15-inch laptop. However, it's an i7, which is a good improvement on the i5s we were looking at previously. It's also got a 1650 GTX GeForce graphics card, a 16GB RAM, 512GB SSD, and obviously well, there's additional bump there that normally they give you, Amazon Alexa and compatible and all that la-di-da-da-da. Depends how important that is to you. Okay, so here you can see this one obviously has a dual screen and it is designed to give you additional features while you're using it. So you can see that the mouse pad there is designed to give you handwriting additional section, which gives you that extra element there. So what do we look at and what would I look at? I normally jump to the main. Let's avoid all the bump that you can read yourself. Let's see what is it going to offer us. Okay, 15.6 screen resolution. So now look at this. When you pay a bit more money, your screen resolution doubles. So the screen resolution option, you're looking at 4K there, more or less. Max screen resolution is 1920 by 1080 pixels. Processor is 4.9 GHz Core i7, 16GB RAM. So you've got plenty of RAM. Like I mentioned earlier, a minimum is 8. 8 isn't great though. You want 16. If you're going to have multiple programs open, a couple of Photoshop, Adobe Suite, if you're doing a bit of live streaming, if you're doing a bit of video editing and you've got a couple of those tabs open, you need minimum 16 gig. 32 would be ideal, especially with the faster, better computers, because you've got more headroom there for having multiple things open, and obviously video editing, it's going to be a bit more. So what else do we got there? We got a dedicated graphics card, GTX 1650, a 4GB graphics card, which is very good for a laptop. Average battery life, you're looking at 5.5 hours. It's saying average, so you're probably looking at about 3 hours if you're lucky, I reckon, if you're doing some intensive tasking. Again, it's a 15-inch laptop. It's got no optical drive, so you won't have a CD drive with the newer Model 1s. You've got 1.2 megapixel webcam, and obviously it is an Intel, and you've got 4 processors. So you'll be able to multitask on this very nicely, and for the price point there, it's a good difference between the one we looked at just a while ago into this one. But I would say this is something that you can consider. So let me just drop in a quick message here to the people. If you have any questions, I can answer live, just so you know that I'm here for you. And let's just get a quick little thing up here for you there. So yes, that is another nice option. I think it's time we look at another one which is slightly more budget orientated, so a little bit cheaper than the one we're currently looking at, but not giving you too much of a downgrade. So the next one we've got is an Asus again. Asus do make some great machines at different budgets. So this one here now I've got very similar to the one we were looking at. It's a Asus gaming laptop. You're looking at 15.6 inch display, so a good amount of display real estate for you there. And you can have a quick look at some of the images there. I like the design on Asus. They do a lot of nice design, especially for your computers and gaming setups. We've got an IPS type display. We'll look more into that and find out what they mean by that. Intel Core i7, so 9th gen processor, GeForce GTX 1650. We're taking a bit of a dip in the RAM there. It's got 8GB of RAM. And can I upgrade the RAM? Is that an option? No, it's not. We can either do an AMD version or we can do an Intel version. And Windows 10, let's have a look at the main essentials. So you'll see as we take a dip in price, we take a cut. We either get a smaller hard drive or we get less RAM, which is quite important if you're doing regular work and you want to keep it all within the one system. So let's look at what we've got. I normally skip to the main. Okay, so screen resolution, you'll notice the one we saw before this was double that, so we had more 4K resolution than the other one. This one is a 1920 1080. The RAM has taken a dip, and also the memory speed is yeah. So SSD hard drive, good. GTX graphics card, dedicated, 4GB. I don't know. It's nice, but you'll notice I have 6 processors in this one, whereas in the previous one we were looking at, we had 4. So we will be able to do more multitasking at the 4.5 GHz per CPU, and flash memory, okay, gigabit Ethernet, so the rest of it's pretty standard. Again, let's have a quick look at the battery life from the people who have used it. Plenty of games on it yet, but I can imagine that it will definitely be effortless. Battery life is great, nice build. Yeah, only issue I was with the brightness wouldn't change, but after reboot it fixed. Got it from Amazon whole warehouse used program, and wouldn't even call this used. A pretty okay, so that's a different option for it. Battery life. Okay, here's a quick look at it. This is a customer photo. Okay. The laptop came very fast. In 10 days, original box, added a stick of another 8 GB of RAM. Okay, that's great. So if it's only got 8 gig, you can add another 8 gig in, which based on this seller who was able to do that, you've got 16 gig. Then you're perfect. You've got 6 cores. It's a good Intel machine. You can add an extra RAM in there. You'll be flying with this machine. And look at that. The price is actually quite great at the moment. Look at that price. So I reckon this is one of the ones to keep. I've got another one lined up from a different brand just to give you a variation of options. So let's bring up the next one. So we have got a HP Pavilion. Let me bring that up for you now and show you it. Intel i7. So it's a 15-inch laptop, 11th gen, and 16 GB RAM. Okay, this one's a nice one. And price-wise, it's actually pretty close to the Asus that we were looking at earlier, but you get 16 GB of RAM on this one. Let's have a look and see where the difference is now. Windows 10, because if there's a difference in price, there will be